Good Organic Healthy Food, Part 1. Exposing Monsanto's GMOs and Codex Alimentarius as the vitamins and minerals thief. I'm just looking for good, organic, healthy food to eat. With all I'm seeing and hearing about adulterated, genetically engineered food, GMOs, and their detrimental effect on our bodies, well, I'm really desperate to find safe food. I don't want to die young. I want to live as long as I can, don't you? I'm being generous when I say I don't want to die young, since I'll be turning 80 next month. But even if I only live another 10 or 20 years, I want to live and enjoy every minute and every hour of those golden years. Okay, so why am I telling you all this about healthy food and unhealthy food? Well, it's because I love my family and I love my neighbor. Love your neighbor as yourself, right? And whatever I can find out about the good and the bad of foods, I want to share that information with everyone and hope it will be a blessing. And I have found a lot of information on food, a whole lot. I buy groceries from HEB and Kroger's, and sometimes I get milk from Costco. And of course, I'm always searching for those foods which are marked organic or non GMO. And even better if they have both of those labels on the packaging. A few days ago, I began to notice a strange label on organic milk cartons that read, "No significant difference has been shown between milk derived from RBST treated and non RBST treated milk." Other cartons read RBGH treated. Both have the same meaning, recombinant bovine growth hormone. And this growth hormone treatment, I found out, is being injected into every single cow, according to Dr. Rima Libo and her investigation of the Codex Alimentarius. Okay, so what is this injection, RBST, that's being given to our cows? Is it good or not so good? Glad you asked. From what I'm researching and studying, this hormone injection is not good at all, neither for cows nor for the humans who consume the cow's milk. The R in the acronym mentioned above stands for recombinant, and recombinant means to be produced by genetic engineering. So they're messing with the genetic structure of the animal and causing the metabolism to speed up so the cow will produce more milk, which means more money for them, the producer of this bioengineered growth hormone, which is Monsanto. But the consequences are highly detrimental to the cow. There's an increase in the frequency of udder infections, that's UTTER, mastitis, serious reproductive problems such as infertility, fetal loss, cystic ovaries, and birth defects. Scientific research is still focusing on the controversial use of this RBST in cows. They suspect that drinking their genetically modified milk could significantly increase IGF-1 levels in humans, a condition which makes people more susceptible to cancer. This could be colon, breast, and prostate cancer. And it's interesting to note that the RBST has been banned in Canada, Australia, Japan, and the European Union. So back to this strange label on the organic milk cartons. No significant difference has been shown between RBST treated cows and non-RBST treated cows. Now, for a milk producer to state that their milk is organic specifically means that it is free of growth hormones. And Monsanto, who is the producer of the toxic RBST injection for cows, does not want products to be identified as containing RBST. And its close ally, the FDA, Federal and Drug Administration, does not require that labeling. This is not good. It's deception. Monsanto even sued an Oakhurst dairy for labeling on their milk carton no artificial growth hormone used. Oakhurst had to compromise with Monsanto by inserting a disclaimer statement recommended by the FDA on their cartons, which is the one I just quoted above. No significant difference in milk from cows treated with artificial hormones. And apparently, since then, all other milk companies are using this disclaimer to avoid this, retribution from Monsanto. So this is pressure coming from Monsanto to tell a lie. Jane Acree, who is an investigative reporter, said, this concept that there's no difference in the milk with cows treated with RBGH is one of many fabrications. This she discovered while doing an investigative report on RBGH for a Fox TV station in Tampa. What she was exposing was so hot that soon thereafter she got fired. And did I mention who is the creator of the virulent RBGH? It's Monsanto. Monsanto is also the creator of Agent Orange, a horrible biochemical weaponized and used by the US military in the Vietnam War. Millions of tons of this deadly biochemical was dropped and sprayed over thousands of villages and fields throughout Vietnam. Over 400,000 Vietnamese people died from exposure to Agent Orange. And besides the 58,000 US soldiers who died in the war, 300,000 more died just from exposure to the extremely toxic biochemical that was called Agent Orange. And now today, this same chemical company, Monsanto, is demanding that all cows everywhere be injected with their toxic bioengineered synthetic gene hormone, RBST. P.S. If you don't know what kind of milk and food you're buying, I strongly recommend praying over your meals and drink. Second of all, I recommend you start buying milk and products with the organic and or the non-GMO label. Okay, that's the end of part 1. And we'll continue with part 2. Part 2, wanted good, organic, healthy food. Exposing Monsanto's Roundup and its active ingredient, glyphosate. That's spelled Glyphosate. In part 1 of this series, we covered the toxic GMO hormone that's been injected into our cows, the RBST. This is what's causing the cows to get serious diseases and the sicknesses that develop in humans that drink their milk. Some of these being colon, breast, and prostate cancer, infertility, etc. And the antidote for these maladies is simply to switch over to organic foods. This may sound like a marketing slogan, switch over to organic foods. But it's not really about making high sales and more money. It goes way beyond that. It's about the integrity and goodness of the food we consume and the huge risk factors to our health when these foods have been doctored up through strange bioengineering that throws our body and entire genome into jeopardy. Well, this is very interesting, you might say, but that's just milk. What about the other foods we eat, like meat, bread, fruits, and vegetables? Have any of these been genetically modified? And I would say yes. Almost every kind of food that we eat has been genetically modified. And the extent of the GMO foods in the world today is almost inconceivable. Monsanto, who is the originator of the detrimental RBST growth hormone for cows, is also the creator of Roundup, an herbicide that has been used for killing weeds. Glyphosate is the main ingredient in Roundup. It's a very nasty toxin that when sprayed on plants shuts down a certain pathway called the shikimate pathway. And this hinders or stops the passage of nutrients from getting to the plant. So stay with me now, I'm going somewhere with this. So that shikimate pathway also exists in humans. So it will do the same thing with humans that have been exposed to glyphosate. It will shut down their ability to take in vitamins and minerals that are so vitally needed by their bodies. Now, after spraying crops like corn, soy, apples, oranges, grapes, etc., there's a residue that remains on the plants that cannot be washed off. And this toxic glyphosate residue from the Roundup spraying will accompany this produce right into your favorite supermarket. It's 70% of U.S. crops that receive the Roundup treatment. The glyphosate you ingest with the sprayed food will also close that shikimate pathway in humans and will not allow the indispensable vitamins and minerals to get to your body. Are these nutriments important? Absolutely. They help to fight infection, wound healing, making our bones strong and regulating hormones. They repair cells, synthesize fat, create energy, remineralize tissues and bones, and so much more. Glyphosate can also be in meat from farm animals that were given Roundup treated feed. There are testimonies of farmers whose cows started having serious diseases like infertility, digestion problems, birth deformities, and some of these even dying. See Dr. Jeffrey's video mentioned below. Dr. Jeffrey Smith says that the consequences of glyphosate and all of the things it can cause to go wrong are most of the diseases and conditions associated with the Western diet. These are gastronomical problems, diabetes, autism, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, infertility, cancer, Parkinson's disease, anxiety, heart disease, depression, etc. So Dr. Jeffrey Smith's video, here's the link for it, and it's called Genetic Roulette. So here's the good news. Organic products do not receive this Roundup spraying. So to be on the safe side in your meals and shopping, try to get those foods labeled organic. The next best thing to get would be those products labeled non-GMO. And last of all, in your line of defense, or should I say, first of all, pray. Pray over everything you eat or drink. And if for now you can't afford it, or you're not able to get organic food, just pray. God has promised to protect us from anything toxic or deadly that may be in our food. And here's some of his promises. Exodus 23:25-28. And you shall serve the Lord your God, and he will bless your bread, your food, and your water, and I will take sickness away from you. Matthew 6:11. Give us this day our daily bread. So what this means is that when you pray over your meal, then it becomes God who has given you that meal, and it will be toxin-free. Mark 16:18. And if they shall drink or eat any deadly thing, it will by no means hurt them. James 1:17. Every good and perfect gift comes from above, and this includes the gift of food. So this verse lets you know that even if the food is toxic, he'll make it good and not bad for you, and he'll clean out all the toxins. But then he also expects us to stop eating food that we know contain toxins like GMO foods. Okay, so this section about good, healthy food and toxic food is just part of the overall global agenda that these dark entities are planning on the world's populations. In part 3 of this series, I will expound on Codex Alimentarius and will shed light on their global plan to regulate all vitamins and proteins in a manner that will remove these vital-giving substances from our diets and food. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is as real as the toxins being given to our livestock and contamination of our food supply that I've mentioned above. And it's happening now. God bless you and your family, and may God bless our world and keep us all safe. Stay tuned for part 3 and part 4.